Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Start by praising Allah. We seek His help and His forgiveness. I seek refuge with Allah from the evil of our own souls and from our bad deeds. Whosoever Allah guides, no one can misguide, and who Allah misguides, no one can guide. I bear witness, there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, who is one, who has no partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his slave and his messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to be very relaxed. Alhamdulillah. As the Prophet introduced me, my name, Muslim Bilal. I come from the United Kingdom. It wasn't a long flight, 9 hours about to be exact. Stopped off in Dubai. I come from the United Kingdom where I was born and raised. My parents come from Jamaica. Does anyone know Jamaica? Island in the Caribbean, yeah, not far from South America. This is where my mother and my father was raised. When I was born, I didn't come out of my mum's womb and they look at me and say, let's call him, what name should we give him? He looks like a nice name, Bilal for him, or Muslim is a nice name for him. This wasn't what they was thinking. Muslim Bilal was not the name I was given at birth. I was raised as a Christian. My family used to go to church. So I was named after my grandfather, who was mixed with Chinese. And I was given his name, which was Ashley Chin. So, the first period of my life in the UK was ignorance. I didn't know what I was living for. We're put here on this earth, in this world, and we're left here to live before we die, to do so much things, but I didn't know what it was that was required of me to do. I was just walking around heedless, not knowing the purpose of life, not knowing why I was here. For me, as a youngster, this world was a playground. As you can see, the kids here, I just wanted to have fun. And this is all we want when we're young, when we're children. We just want to have fun. So I see this world as a playground. I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to play games. I wanted to go outside and enjoy myself with my friends. I didn't have no responsibilities. I was only 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And then as you grow older, your aims and your mission changes. It's no longer innocent fun no more. In the UK, your success is measured by wealth. How much money you have. What type of car do you drive? What type of house do you live in? What type of family business do you have? What kind of wife do you have? These are the things that your status, your success is measured by. So these are the things we start to strive for from when we reach the age of 15, 16, 17 as we get older. So for me, growing up in my household, we was quite poor. We didn't have much money. So we used to believe in God, and I used to go to church every weekend and during the week. And the church used to take us on holiday in the summer to another place, a resort like this one in the UK, because it was cheap to go with the church. You didn't need to pay as much money. Now, when I reached the age of about 13, 14, I no longer wanted to go to church anymore. I remember having an argument with my Bible studies teacher because each child used to take it in turns to pray before we eat food. And one day before we ate, it was my turn to pray, and I said, okay, thank you God for this food. And the Bible studies teacher said this was out of line. I was meant to do the specific prayer where we say, in Jesus' name do we eat, da 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 da. And I said, why can't I say thank you God for the food? Why do I have to say in Jesus' name? As long as I thank God, is this not good enough? Why? She thought I was being rude. I was not being rude. I just wanted to say thank you God. But she said, no, we have to say in Jesus' name. Now, I no longer went to church after that, because I felt like I was created by God. I can't argue with that. If God made me, God gave us everything overall, then we should thank God for everything. And we should pray to God. This is before I was a Muslim or anything. I even knew about Islam. I didn't know anything about Islam at this stage. I just knew from the human body, from nature, from looking outside, that there must be a God. And I felt close to this God. When you're poor and you don't have much money, you feel like sometimes God is the only person you can turn to. So when my mum used to take the pocket money my dad gave me, because I'd only see my dad maybe 2-3 times a year, and they would give me pocket money. But my mum would take it, and she'll go to bingo to gamble that money. Hopefully she'll win more. I'd pray to God that my mum wins. Oh, please God, I hope mum wins, because when she comes home, I want her to give me back my money, and then she can keep her winnings. So we was close to God. Now, to get in, even though I had this relationship with God, I stopped going to the church now. I'm a young adult, I'm 14 years old. And my mission now was money. Mum taking my money to go and gamble, it used to upset me. Mum, the door knocking at our house, and mum saying, don't answer the door. I say, Mum, why can't we answer the door? Someone's at the door, I need to go and answer it. She says, no, shh, be quiet. Maybe we owe this person some money. It's someone we took money from not long ago, and I can't afford to pay them back, so don't answer the door. So I'll be like, okay. And then when they go, we can start making noise again. And then my mum would say, we need some food for dinner. Go to the shop and get some necessities so we can cook dinner tonight. I said, okay, Mum, what do you want? She said, mashed potato, beef, corned beef, these things. I said, okay. Then she didn't give me no money. She gave me a note. And on this note, words was written on this note saying, give my son these things. And when I get paid, I'll pay you back. So I say, Mum, why can we not just, ain't you got no money? She says, no, I haven't got any money. Take the note and go to the shop. So I take this note and I go to the shop. Now, even though I'm only young and I have pride, I don't want to go in the shop with a note. I want money. So when I go in the shop, and the shopkeeper in the UK, most of them, this is a good business for the Asian community. So most of them are from India or Pakistan. I will go in there, and he was a nice man. I waited till the shop was empty. I picked up my stuff. I gave him this note. I looked at him, and he said, tell your mother next time I will not do this. Go. Now I was hurt inside. I wanted to throw the things down and leave. But I didn't. Because I knew we needed this stuff. So I took the stuff and I went home. Now from that day forward I said, I'm going to dedicate my life to making money. So that I can help my mum. So that I can help my family. And so that I don't have to live like this when I grow up. As long as we have money, I will be a happy person. And I travel the whole world now, and I notice that most young people share this. So I'm only young, and I'm in my room, and I like to watch a music channel called MTV. This is where they showed all the rap stars and the singers in America mainly. So when I'm in my room and I'm watching this MTV, it's like I go into a different world. Because I see these rappers from America with jewelry on, sunglasses, and they're in the south of France, like Saint-Tropez or Monaco, and they're driving Ferraris or BMWs, and they got these women sitting on the back of the cars in bikinis, hardly any clothing, and they look like they're living such a high life. Now us as youngsters, we see this, and this is what we look up to. This is what we want. I'm watching this rapper, his name was Jay-Z, and he's rapping about, I'm in a Ferrari and Jaguar, switching 4 lanes, top down, screaming out, money ain't a thing, hey, oh, and all these girls are going like this, and they're throwing money in the air. Now, I'm a young boy, only 14 or 15 years old. When I look at this, I think, wow, I want to live like that. I want a Ferrari, I want to be in Miami with all these women and that money. That's how I want to live. And this is what I'm seeing on the TV. So this is what I started striving for. And I started doing things on the street to make money. And I got my first role in a TV show, and I was making money. And I was investing my money in the studio where we was rapping and making these rap songs and putting them out, and I was building a name for myself in London. Now, there's this one guy who we used to look up to. I don't know what it's like here in Pakistan, in Karachi, but in London, there's always that street person, that gangster who has a big name, who everyone knows who he is. When he comes around in his car, you all recognize him. Well, this guy, I used to recognize, and everyone used to know. I hadn't seen him for about 3 or 4 years. And one day, we was all in the studio where we make music. Loads of youngsters, they're smoking, they're drinking, we're playing computer, we're making these rap songs. And he said, the guy who I started my business with, said that the guy that I used to look up to, this gangster, he was downstairs. He'd been away for a few years and he's back. So I was excited to see him for the first time. A few minutes later, he came upstairs to the room, he knocked the door, and he said, can you turn the music down for 5 minutes, and left. He didn't come in and greet me with a hug and say, hi, I haven't seen you guys for a long time. He just said, turn the music down, and that's it, for 5 minutes, and left. So I thought, he's changed, something's different about this guy. 10 minutes or 20 minutes later, he came again. Something was so different. He was no longer wearing the jewelry he used to wear. He no longer had the things he used to have. He was wearing this gown that looked like a dress for me. It was long and it come past his knees. And I was thinking, what men wear things like this? This is not how we should dress. And he came into the room. And the reason he'd been asking us to turn down the music was because he was downstairs praying. He had recently became a Muslim. But I didn't know anything about Islam. So he came in the room and he was speaking to us. And I remember he said to one of our youngsters, he asked this question, he said, okay, tell me this. What is the purpose of your life? What is the purpose of your life? Why are you here? And this youngster, he didn't know how to answer this question. He says, I'm just here to live my life, be good to my family, and I don't know, we're just here to live, right? Be good. He didn't know how to answer. Now we know the answer to many things. We go to university, college. What's the point in knowing anything if we don't know the purpose of our life? So I knew he was going to ask me next. So I'm thinking, what is the purpose of our life? He said, where do you come from? Why are you here? And where do you go after you die? I'm thinking, yeah, we come from our mother's womb. We're here to live. And after we die, we go to the grave. He says, you come from a God, a creator. That's where you come from. And you're here to impress that God, that creator. Because after you die, you're going to return to that God, that creator. And everything you do while you're here, you will be judged upon. He said there's angels surrounding each and every one of us, making notes of everything we do. What we do in public, what we do in secret. Everything we are making, these angels are making notes of. And after we die, there will be this judgment day. So I'm listening, I said, I've heard this word before, judgment day. I'm sure they used to talk about it in my Bible studies. So I'm saying, yeah, so what would judgment day be like? He says, on judgment day, everyone will be raised up. All of mankind. And this day is what matters. He said there will be winners and there will be losers. So I said, how do we ensure we are the winners on this day? Who are the winners? He said the winners will be the people who lived a life that was pleasing to God. Who done the things that was pleasing to God. So this conversation I had with him was very interesting. And everyone in the room was very interested. Some people was high, was smoking, they were high, they were thinking about, wow, this judgment day sounds very deep. Because when they're intoxicated, they start to feel like you like to think even deeper. So I remember saying to him, and I didn't know he was a Muslim at this stage. I just remember saying, I want to know more about this. Next time you're going to the bookshop, I want to come with you. Because the truth is, I was now about 18 years old. And we had so much, but I wasn't happy. All that money I was striving for from a youngster, I now got to a stage where we had it because we worked hard for it. I now got to a stage where I had that status that I wanted on the streets because I worked hard for it. I was well known, I was popular, I had money, I had clothing, I had everything from a young age, we was pulling up at record labels in Mercedes convertibles and everything. The record label said to us, how can I offer you a deal when you already have so much? What can we impress you with? Because we made so much on the streets already. So with all of this, I didn't have no contentment in my heart. Something was missing from my life. No matter what I had, I could still go to sleep at night and feel emptiness. So he said to me, I'm going to the bookshop. Do you want to come? I said, yeah. This was the day. So we went to the bookshop together. We walked in, and it's this old Asian man at the door. Said, Salaam alaikum. And he said, wa alaikum salam. I looked and I said, oh, you're a Muslim? He said, yeah. I said, but you wasn't talking about Muslim the other day. You was talking about God, Judgment Day, being good. How can you be a Muslim? And he said, I'm a Muslim. That I was talking about Islam the other day. So I was a bit thrown by this. And I said, so what book do Muslims read? And that was the Quran. And I said, okay, where's the Quran? I need to buy this book. And the man said to me, no, I don't think you'll understand it first. Maybe you should read these books first, just to understand what Islam is. And then if you like Islam, then you can read the Quran. So I says, okay. So I bought a book called The Truth for the Life of This World. Now when I left this shop, the guy said to me, now you're taking these steps towards Islam. Islam's going to come running towards you. I didn't know what he meant, but I saw what he meant the next few days. Because I didn't know what Islam was. When I was young and I was in school, I had no idea what Islam was. If you stopped me in my classroom and you said, Ashley, stop talking in the middle of class, answer this question, what do you know about Islam? I would have said to my teacher, is that a country near Pakistan or something? I had no idea what this religion was. I was ignorant. I thought that that's just for Asian people and Arabs. It's not for us. As a black person coming from Jamaica, I never would have expected to be here or to be one of these Muslims. I told my mum when I went home, can you believe that so-and-so has become a Muslim? I went to the bookshop with him today. He's a Muslim now. And she said, yeah? I said, yeah. Can you believe that? And I said, I've been reading about that religion, and it's quite simple. It's about just believing in God and Judgment Day and praying. It's quite simple. And my mum said, yeah, I heard, I know, but you can't become a Muslim. And I said, why? I never said I was going to. Well, why did you say that? And she said, that's not for us, that's for Asians and them Arab people. So I said, yeah. But I was thinking, no. But I didn't want to tell my mum because I was a bit shy. So I was reading more and more books. And one day I went to a shop to buy a pair of trainers. And outside this shop, I always go there, and I always see this man with a table. And I always ask him to watch my motorbike, because I ride a motorbike. I say to him, can you watch my motorbike for me? And he always says yes. And I thought that he was selling incense sticks. But this day, I realized he was selling more than just incense sticks. It's like after all those years, now I saw he was actually a Dawah table giving out leaflets about Islam. So as I parked my motorcycle and I said, hello, can you watch my motorbike for me? Today he said, yeah, I can. But why don't you take one of these? And he picked up a leaflet from his table and handed it to me. And it said, what do you know about Islam? So I said, oh, I've got a few books at home about Islam. I've been reading about it recently. And he says, well, now you have another one. And anything time you want another one, come and see me. So this is what the shopkeepers meant when he said, now you're taking steps towards Islam, Islam's going to come running to you. Because Islam was coming to me from every angle now. In this book, what do you know about Islam? I read the translation of a Muslim. And it said, a Muslim is one who surrenders themselves to Allah. One who submits to God. This translation for me was the biggest dawah anyone could ever give me. Because it was so simple. It was so pure. A Muslim is one who surrenders himself to God. That's it. If that's what a Muslim is, why was we not taught that in our schools in the UK or where I was raised? Why did I think that a Muslim was something so different? So this seemed like something that I was already doing. When I left the church, what did I say I wanted to do? I said I just wanted to pray to God. I just wanted to submit to God, that's it. I didn't want to pray to follow, I didn't want to worship Jesus. I didn't want to Hail Mary. I didn't want to elevate the status of anyone except for God. I wanted to only pray to God. Other people could be respected and respected and looked up to. But the only person worthy of my prayers was God in my eyes. And Islam seemed like that was exactly what it was representing. So it was pure, it was simple, it was what all the messengers I read about and I learned about as a youngster was already saying. From Noah, who we know as Prophet Noor, to Musa, Moses, Ibrahim, Sulaiman, all of them said, we come from a God, we should worship this God, recognize that God, pray to that God, thank that God. I learned that in church. They all said that. It was so simple, it was a pure message, it was black and white. We come from a God and we should worship that God. And that's all I wanted to do. And it's like now I had come back to that pure message. So I was thinking, if that's what Islam is, why is everyone not a Muslim? Why is the world filled with people thinking that Islam is something different? That Islam is not this pure, simple religion. That Muslims pray to somebody different. I couldn't believe it. And I remember I wanted to become a Muslim upon knowing this information, but I was scared. I was scared because I felt like, what would my family say? What would the people say if I became a Muslim? What would everyone think? And I was delaying that decision. And then I told a Muslim that I met that I would like to become a Muslim soon. I'm thinking about it. He was young and he made a big mistake. He looked at me and he says, oh, you're thinking of becoming a Muslim? I said, yeah. And he knew what my life was like. So he looked at me and he said, wow, I can't imagine you being a Muslim. I said, how could you say that? And he said, you know that all this rap music you do, that will have to stop. I said, this rap music? He says, yeah, that will have to stop. It's haram. I said, what's haram? He said, unlawful, forbidden, things you can't do. Rapping, music, you have to stop this. I said, okay. I'm kind of not feeling it anymore anyway. And he said, and all these parties you go to, that would have to stop too. I said, parties? I don't want to go to too much parties anyway. I'll only go out when it's my friend's birthday. He says, even all these birthdays, that will have to stop too. We don't do birthdays. So I said, okay, well, I'll just go out casually with some friends every now and then. No birthdays, no parties. We'll just go to the cafe, couple girls, couple guys, sit down. That's enough for me. He said, couple girls, couple guys. All this mixing with girls, that will have to stop too. So I said, wow, this religion seems so hard, so harsh. And it kind of scared me away. The way he was giving me dawah, the way he was teaching me about the religion, telling me about all these rules, it was too much for me. I was like, you know what? Maybe Islam is not for me. Maybe I should carry on living how I'm living. And when I'm about 40 years old and I'm relaxed, I'll become a Muslim then. Because I'm young now, I still want to have fun. And it seems too hard. When I saw the original guy who was originally giving me dawah, and I told him this, I said I didn't realize the rules and how hard this religion would be. He said to me, why are you focusing so much on the rules? I said, it'll be too hard for me. You know what my life's like. I'll maybe become a Muslim when I'm about 40 years old. And my life's a bit more chilled. He said, did you have a contract with God that you're going to live to see 40 years old? Did you sign a deal that you're going to live that long? Because I don't remember signing that deal. And he explained that we could die any time. The only guarantee in life is death. And that today could be our last day. And we should live as if every day is our last day. And that as if we may not see tomorrow. And he said, with that being said, if you knew that you may not live to see tomorrow, what would you do today? And I knew inside, if I knew that I wouldn't live to see tomorrow, I would want to become a Muslim today, because I didn't want to meet God knowing that I wasn't one who surrendered myself to him, who submitted. But I didn't say it. I went home and I had a dream that I got shot. And when I had this dream I got shot, I was saying in the ambulance, they were pushing my head down, telling me to relax. And I said, no, I don't need to go to the hospital. I need to go and see Brother Ismail and take my shahada. And then we can go to the hospital after. And they were saying, calm down. I said, listen, I can't die like this. I need to take my shahada. And then we'll go to the hospital. When I awoke from this dream, I was sweating. I thought it was real. But it was just a dream. I was like, oh, it's just a dream. I can get on with my life now. So I went to see the brother because I was scared. And I told him about this dream. And he said, you was panicking in that dream as if it was real. But then you woke up and you got on with your life. I said, yeah. He said, that's exactly how this life is. We're in this life now. And we're so focused on our business and on arguing and on the internet and different things. We think this life is so important. But when we die and we go to the grave, and the angels ask us, how long was you in that life? You'll say a day or part of a day, that was it. And you'll be ready for the next life. With this being said, I said I want to take my shahada right now. I'm ready. I want to take my shahada. I at least want to try and be the best Muslim I can be. I want to start learning this Quran. I want to start somewhere. He says, this is brilliant. Let's go to the masjid and you can take your shahada. We went to go to the masjid where it was closed. In the UK, they closed the mosque after each prayer. So he took me to a brother's house. And this was my first experience of being around Muslims. Not the Muslims that I'd heard about so much in the media, in the newspaper. And now I went to a Muslim's house to take my shahada. As I walked in this house, the door was not even locked. It's the first person's house I've been to where their front door is not locked in London. We knocked it, it was closed, we knocked it and he says, come in, Assalamu alaikum. So we just pushed it and we walked in the house. We walked straight into the living room. And I remember seeing all these cushions on the floor. And I thought to myself, wow, Muslims are very poor. They obviously don't think about money or nothing. It's all about the next life. And he said to me, it's good news that you come here today to take your shahada. Would you like some food first? We're going to eat some food. I said, okay. So we sat down and he brought in a big tray of food. And he placed this food on the floor with rice and meat. And I remember sitting there looking at the food. And he gave some spoons out and he said, listen, start eating. I said to the guy next to me, how can I eat? I need my own plate. I don't have a plate to eat. He said, no, we're all going to share from this one plate. So everyone started eating from this one plate. And I sat there watching. And I was a slow starter compared to everyone else. Because I was thinking, is this hygienic? The guy next to me is not even using a spoon. He was just putting his hand straight in the food, putting it in his mouth, putting his hand straight back in, putting it in his mouth. And I was like, no, I don't want to eat this. And after a while, they were saying to me, look, just eat. 1, 2. So they were saying, just eat, just eat. So I was thinking, I hope that his hand doesn't touch that piece of meat that I'm about to eat. And if I saw someone's hand touch something, I wouldn't eat it. This shows, before Islam, how black my heart was, how I felt. Now, halfway through this meal, I felt some love in my heart. Because I realized I'm sitting around with people from different countries all over the world in a circle, different ages. This guy next to me was from Somalia. He was from Pakistan. He was Bangladesh. He was Greek, Cypriot. I'm from Jamaica. There was someone else in there from London. We're all different ages, completely different type of people. But we were together, eating food together from one plate. I've never done something like this with my friends before. I felt a different type of love in this room. And I remember started eating. and they was all caring for me, saying, come on, eat some more, putting more food in front of me. The love I experienced here now was more than any love I experienced in my life. So when we finished eating, I said, I'm ready to take my shahada. I took my shahada, and they all queued up in a line to give me a hug. I had never even been this close to another man before. Me and my male friends, we never hug each other. But this day I was hugging men. The man whose house it was squeezing me, and he was giving me kisses on the cheek. It was an amazing feeling. And I went home. But when I went home, I didn't tell my mother that I had just took my shahada and I became a Muslim. I was still nervous. The guys who I took my shahada with, they said to me, you don't have to tell your family straight away. Start to learn Islam, start to pray, start to do the basics, and then your family will find out over time, when the time is right. I said, okay. I said, I need to learn. They said, this is the first book, will teach you how to pray, some simple books, and one of them gave me this small thing as a gift, which smelled very nice. He said, this is like an attaris. Put it on before you pray, it will smell good. And I said, thank you. And I still remember to this day, that smell reminds me of that day. So I had that present. Another one gave me a prayer mat. He said, this is a mat, you can take this home. They was all giving me gifts. And then one of them said, look, I want to give you a name. A better name than Ashley. I said, what's wrong with Ashley? He says, no, I think I have a better name for you. Islamic name, Muslim name. I said, okay. And then someone said, no, let him pick his own name. And they gave me a book of names. So I didn't know whether to pick a name or to take the name this guy wanted to give me. But he was so passionate about giving me a name, I felt bad not to accept the name he wanted to give me. So I said, okay, what name do you want to give me? And he says, I think this name Bilal is a good name for you. I said, Bilal? I don't know, it doesn't sound so nice. I want one that sounds more stylish. This is how I was thinking. And he says, you don't know who Bilal is right now, but you will learn who Bilal is. And he was explaining to me, Bilal was the Mu'adhin of Rasul. He used to call the Adhan, call people to pray, call them to success. And his voice was so nice that it would make Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam start crying when he heard his voice. He says, he was a black slave to Islam. This is a good name for you. So I says, okay, I'll take this name, Bilal. And then the other brother said, but you can pick another name if you want. So I looked through the book and I saw names that I liked. I liked the name Talib, Sufyan, Hamza. And then I saw the name Muslim. And I said, Muslim, that's not a name. Why is that in the book? That's the religion, is it? Is it not? And he said, no. Muslim is a name, you could have this name too. It's just like Islam, you could also have the name Islam if you want it. So I said, okay, I want the name Muslim, because it means one who surrenders themselves to God. That's what I want to do, surrender myself to God. Muslim Bilal. And then he said, well, you can be called Bilal Muslim. I said, no, Muslim Bilal. So I took this name, and I went home. Looked in the mirror, I was like, yeah, Muslim Bilal. Alhamdulillah. And I started to learn how to pray. The next day was Friday. I took my shahada on a Thursday. And they said I need to go to the mosque for Jummah. But I'd never been in a mosque before. So one of the brothers said, I will pick you up from your house and take you to the mosque. SubhanAllah, the brother picked me up late. So we got to the mosque late. They was just about to pray. So as we got in there, he said, I'm sorry brother, we're late, but follow me. We'll go to the back of the mosque and we'll join the prayer. So I was following him. I walked in the mosque and I'm trying to take it all in. He said, take your shoes off here. So we took our shoes off. We walked in. And the first thing I noticed was how soft the carpet was. I was like, it feels really nice and soft and comfortable. And then we walked to the back. And I stood next to him and he said, follow me. Everything I do, you do as well. So when I raise my hands, when I go down, you come down, you go up. And I was looking at him, I was saying, okay, I'll follow you. I was confused. I heard everyone was talking and moving around, and then the Imam said one thing, Allahu Akbar, and everyone just went quiet. So I quickly joined in, okay. And I was just looking around, I had no kushur. My concentration was on everyone. I was looking around, I'm like this during my first prayer. And then that was it. It hit me the first time. I've heard a different language. As the Imam started, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. I was thinking, wow, is he singing? What is this sound? This sounds very nice. Now I grew up loving music of all types. Bob Marley, Jamaican art. And there were certain types of music that has different effects on you. And this is why it's like an intoxicant, because when you listen to sad music, you feel sad. When you listen to love music, you think, I'm in love, I want to get married now. When you listen to gangster music, you think, okay, I want to go outside and kill all my enemies. So, music has an effect on you. But this Quran, I couldn't even understand what was being said, but it had an effect on me. It was like a medicine straight to my heart. As I stood there and I heard him, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ اهْدِنَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمُ. It's like it was just going straight in my heart, this medicine. And then I heard everyone go, me. Well, what is that? I didn't know. How did everyone know how to say that at exactly the same time? I was confused. I'm never going to learn this. I'm the only person who didn't know how to say that and when to say that. So we finished the prayer. And during the prayer, I noticed the pattern that every time the Imam says Allahu Akbar, everyone moved. And then he will say Allahu Akbar, and then we moved, and Allah, and then we moved, Allah. So I thought, okay, I understand this. It's easy. I listened to Allahu Akbar, I moved. Allahu Akbar, I moved. Until we finished praying, and then everyone got up and started doing it by themselves. So I saw even the kids doing it by themselves. So I was like, wow, how am I going to learn to do this by myself? I want to learn. And I remember the Imam of my masjid, he looked after me. So anything that was happening, he used to say, Muslim Bilal, come. We're doing a program, make sure you come, mashallah, you're a new Muslim, come here, come do this. So he used to invite me to everything. Beautiful man. He's actually from Pakistan. And so he was lovely, and he had about 11 children. And I loved all of these kids. So I used to go to this masjid for all the prayers, so that I could learn this pattern of praying, so that I could do it at home. And I remember once, I was in the masjid and these children came up to me, the Imam's children. And they said to me, Bilal, you're a rapper. I said, huh? You're a rapper. I was like, shh, don't tell your dad. Don't tell your dad I'm a rapper, please. And he says, do a rap, do a rap. And they kept telling me, do some rapping, do some. I said, no, not here, not in the masjid. Don't talk about rapping here. You'll get me in trouble. And they said, please just do one rap for me. And I was thinking, why are all these kids so interested in rap? So I said, do you know Quran? And he says, yes, of course I know Quran. We have to know Quran. So I said, okay, you recite some Quran for me, and then I'll rap for you. And they said, okay, deal. What Quran do you want me to recite? And there was one, because I was a new Muslim, there was this surah. I liked the way it rhymed. I didn't understand the words, but I liked the way it rhymed. So I was trying to explain which one, and they said, I know. وَشَمْسِ وَدُهَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا. And I said, that's the one, yes. So they started reciting it. And I was like, MashaAllah, this is very good. This boy is only 8 or 9 years old. He finished reciting this surah. And I said, that is amazing. And he says, don't you know it? I said, no, I don't know it. He says, you don't know it? That's in Juz Amma. My brother knows it and he's only 5. So I was thinking, wow. But I'm only new. And then the talk that his dad invited me to, they was talking about music. And they were saying, I think someone's phone started ringing in the mosque. And he was complaining, saying, you're bringing this music into the mosque, because his phone had a musical ringtone. And he said, this music is polluting our children, our youngsters. they love this rap music and hip hop music. Maybe not here in Pakistan, in London, this is what they love. But some type of music. And he said, they have these of this rap music, these albums. And I understood because I was. And he says on Judgment Day, when you're asked how much music do you know? You know all of these songs. I know all of this album and that album. But how much Quran do you know? And I was sitting there thinking, wow, I don't know hardly any Quran. So from that day forward, I wanted to learn the Quran. I said, I need to learn. So I went home and I wrote down on a piece of paper the whole of Surah Fatiha. I wrote it down. And then I wrote down all the movements and drawed pictures. Then go to your knees. Then come back up. Then go down to the floor. Say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Then come back up. Then say Subhana Rabbi. Then go back up. Then come to... So I wrote it all up. And I placed the paper on the floor in front of me. I wait for my mum to leave the house. And then I'll pray at home. Allahu Akbar. And I would read everything on this paper. Come up. And this is how I was praying. For about 5 days. But I only wanted to pray when my mum wasn't at home. Because I was shy and I was scared. And she didn't know I was a Muslim yet. So I wait till she go out. But the problem is, my mum never went out. She was always at home. She was always in the living room. And my mum, she was, you know how parents are. If she wants a drink of water, she won't go to the kitchen. She'll call me. Go and get me a drink of water and bring it. So I was thinking, if I start praying now, what if my mum calls me? Ashley! And I'm praying. And she calls again, Ashley! They told me that once you start praying, you're not allowed to stop. You can't let nothing break your prayer. So I was scared. I was thinking, I can't pray because my mum's going to call me while I'm praying. And she's going to think, why is he not answering me? So she's going to come storm into my room. She'll burst in the bedroom. And she'll see me standing there like this. And she's going to think, what is my son doing? And she's going to say, what are you doing? And I'm just not going to answer her. I'm just going to stay like this. And then I'm going to have to go like this. And then my mum's going to say, what are you doing? And I still can't answer her. I dreaded the day that this happened. So I'd never pray if my mum was at home. And then I thought to myself, I know what I can do. When I go to the toilet, my mum doesn't bother me. I'm in the toilet. So maybe if I go to the toilet, I pray in there, my mum will think that I'm just in the toilet, having a shower, or I'm on the toilet. So I started going to the toilet, making wudu, locking the toilet door, and praying inside the toilet. Subhanallah. This is how ignorant and naive as a new Muslim I was. And then the brother who I took Shahada with, he said, come to the house, we're doing some classes for new Muslims. So I went to the house, and he said, today we're going to talk about prayer. Get your pen and your pads out, and we'll teach about prayer. So he said, first and foremost, the prayer is very important. You'll be judged first on your prayer on Judgment Day. If the prayer is good, everything else should be good. If the prayer is bad, everything else will be bad. So make sure we have the prayer down. And then he said, you must pray in a clean place. You can't be eating while you're praying. You must be dressed appropriately while praying. You must face the right direction while praying. The places which are forbidden for prayer is like a graveyard or the toilet. And I sat there and went, whoa. I've been praying in the toilet all week. I didn't tell him I was praying in the toilet, but I just took note, okay, no more praying in the toilet. I must find a new place of prayer. But this is how important it is to seek knowledge. Because without knowledge, you won't learn these things. So anyway, I went to the mosque to pray once. And I was early. So I picked up a Quran. Everyone was reading the Quran. And I remember they used to just read it so fast. just bobbing back and forward, just reading, all these youngsters. And I was thinking, do they understand it? I don't understand it. And I remember in Ramadan, everyone was crying while the Quran was being recited. And these guys are crying, and I'm like, wow, I don't even know what's being said. So this day when I was in the mosque, I remember going to the front and I took a Quran out. And I opened this Quran up. I thought maybe let me read it because I'm too early for prayer. And I opened it on a random, I just wanted to see any page. What do I read? So I just opened it. And it was Surah 15. The beginning. Surah Hijrah. And Allah says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Forgive my Arabic, it's not on point. But where Allah says, Alif Lam Ra Tilka ayatul kitabi wal Qur'anim mubin ربما يود الذين كافروا لو كانوا مسلمين ذرهم يأكلوا ويتمتعوا ويلههم العمل فسوف يعلمون. He's talking about, and these are the words of a glorious Quran. And he says, and how much would the disbelievers, wish that they were Muslims? Just that first bit, how much will the disbelievers, the ones who are placed in this world, this big world, they're given life. This is how I break down disbeliever. We're given life, we're given everything, we're given beauty, we're given freedom. The disbelievers, we've seen the things Allah has created, but we say, thank you for this life. Now I'm going to do whatever I want to do with it, and I'm going to turn my back on the Creator. So they say, they turn their back on the Creator, the disbelievers, they say that no, Allah has not revealed anything. So how much would those disbelievers, wish that they were Muslims, wish that they surrendered themselves to Allah? It says, leave them, let them eat and play in false amusement, like be distracted by false amusement. Surely they will come to know. And that was me. I was one of those disbelievers who rejected Allah, thought like, no, I'm here to make money and to live my life. I'm going to be a rap star, driving a Ferrari. If I'm not in Miami, I'm going to be in Las Vegas. If I'm not in Las Vegas, I'll probably be in Saint-Tropez or Monaco. That's going to be me. I'm going to make a lot of money and I'm going to live very luxuriously and then I'm going to die. Who cares about following rules? It's my life. I want to be free. That's how I was as a disbeliever. And I understand what this Quran meant when it says, how much will the disbelievers, wish that they were Muslims. On this day of judgment, when they see the ones who was worshipping Allah, the ones who was believing in Allah and living a life that was pleasing to Him, receiving their award on that day, they're going to think, why was I not doing the same thing? I need my award today. So these words touched me. And another part of the Quran that touched me was in Juz Amma, when I started memorizing it now. In this surah, Al-Hakamut Takazur, Hatta Zutumul Maqarbir, Kalla Sawfa Ta'lamun, Thumma Kalla Sawfa Ta'lamun. And the mutual rivalry of piling up wealth is what distracts them from the more serious things until they reach the grave, and then they will know, this was me. All I cared about was piling up wealth, and I was in competition with others. I remember driving this car and then thinking, no, I see someone driving a better car, I need a better car. And then I get a better car and I think, no, I need a better car. I remember my first house we was living in. It was nice, but no, I need a better house. And then we got a house in the countryside with great views. I said, no, now I need a city apartment looking over the city. And then you get a house in the city and then you say, no, what, I need a villa. And then you get a villa and say, but I need a beach villa with a swimming pool. And you're never content. There was this rivalry of piling up wealth until we die and reach the grave. and then the truth will come. Then you shall know. Then you will live in regret when you're raised up on that day and Allah says, it's too late now. It's too late. So this Quran, these words was touching me, and I was learning it, and I was like, I need to, this religion has now brought contentment, has now brought peace to my life. Now I know what I'm living for. When I first became a Muslim, I'll be honest, I didn't know balance. So I was a bit extreme. You would have seen me, I'd been a Muslim for maybe 2 months, and you would have never thought I just became Muslim 2 months ago. You would have thought that the way I was acting was like I graduated from Medina University 2 months ago. I was talking to everyone about Islam. Everyone in the streets, I was telling them. Everyone, I was telling them what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. I was going around throwing rules at people. I was way too serious. I was telling my own parents, my own mum. I was like, Mum, you can't dress like this. Mum, you're not allowed to drink this. Mum, this will take you to the fire. Mum, what's wrong? And it wasn't good. My mum was thinking my son's turned crazy. But the more I learned, as I was going to study and I was learning, I was reading this Quran, I realized that what this teaches you is about your character and your manners. And I started purifying my mannerism and my character. And the better manners and character I had, is the more knowledge I had, is the more calm I became. And then slowly my character was better, and my mum started to enjoy me more and started to see the beauty in my religion. And so much so, they felt like this religion must be amazing, because whatever my son has joined is a beautiful thing. Until one day I said, I'm going to Egypt because I want to study this Quran more. I want to learn this language, this Arabic language more, so that I can understand this Quran when it's being recited. And my mum said the day before I go to Egypt, I've never been away before. She said she wants to spend this whole day with me because she's going to be separated from her son for the first time. So I said, okay, no problem. We'll spend the day together before I go. And I woke up early in the morning and I was about to leave my house. And my mum said, where are you going? I said, I'm just going to the mosque. And she goes, I thought we were spending the whole day together today. And I said, yeah, we are, but it's actually Eid today. I just have to go to the mosque and do my Eid prayer. I'll be back in maybe 2 hours, and then we'll spend the whole day together. She says, no, I know it's Eid today. I want us to do everything with you today. Me and your sister want to come to the mosque for Eid prayer. We got headscarves. And she showed me her headscarf. I said, I couldn't believe it. Mum, okay, yeah. I was excited. I quickly phoned my friend because I don't have a wife. My friend has a wife. So I said, listen, you need to come to the Eid prayer with me with your wife so your wife can take my mum and my sister in the women's section while we go in the men's section. And he says, yeah, no problem. I said, all right, this is me. So we went to the mosque. We went to London Central Mosque. It's big. I wanted my mum to see different cultures. I wanted my mum to see different nationalities all coming together to pray. So I said, make sure we go to the biggest one in Regent's Park. We got to this mosque in central London. My mum went in the women's side. We went in the men's side. We finished praying. I told my friend, call your wife and ask if my mum's ready now. So he called his wife and he said, are you guys ready? And she said, yeah, his mum's ready, they're ready. And his sister's ready as well. I said, okay, they're ready. And he said, yeah. She said, they're both ready to take Shahada. I said, no, I meant, are they ready to go home? No, they're both ready to take Shahada. They both want to become Muslim today. I said, no, Allahu Akbar. I went to the office of the Imam. I said, he'd been teaching me privately. He was Egyptian, and he's the one who arranged for me to go to Egypt. So when I went to see him, the first thing he said is, Muslim Bilal, Ahlan, tomorrow you go to Egypt. I said, yes, but first we have a bigger matter. He said, what? I said, I have my mum here. He says, your mother? She comes to the masjid? I said, yeah. And my sister, they both want to take Shahada today. They want to become Muslim now. He said, Allahu Akbar. Bring them in the office. Took them in the office. They both took Shahada. And I almost didn't want to go to Egypt the next day. I wanted to spend some time with them now. But I was already booked. So I went to Egypt the next day. And I spent some time out there. And one of the main things I noticed in Egypt was I was going to a country where I was going to be surrounded by mainly Muslims now. And this is what I was excited about. Leaving the UK, now I was going to be where there's masjids, there's Muslims everywhere, there's halal food everywhere, there's mosques everywhere that you can pray 5 times a day. You can pray even in the mall, the shopping mall. I couldn't wait to arrive in Egypt. I arrived in Egypt, and the first thing that happened was a security guard at the airport, a soldier with a gun. He pulled me to the side, and he said, "Where is the passport?" And I looked at him because he was aggressive. I said, "Are you sure it's me, you mean? Because I haven't done nothing wrong." He said, "Quick, where is the passport? Come, move, walk." And I said, "I'm a Muslim. Assalamu alaikum." And he says, "No, don't Muslim. Walk in the room, now." And this is my first experience. I was like, wow. So then I got saved. I got through that situation. And then I met all the youngsters in my area where I lived. And I was like, "Assalamu alaikum to everyone." And he's like, "Yeah, wa alaikum salam. You from England?" I said, "Yeah." And they started asking me, "Where's your family from?" I said, "Jamaica." He said, "Oh, wow. Can you roll a joint?" I said, "Can I what? Roll a joint?" And I says, he goes, "Don't you know what you do in Jamaica? You smoke weed." I said, "Whoa, how do you know about that?" And then the adhan went. In the streets, I could hear this call to prayer. I never heard it before. I said, "Wow, this is amazing." Everyone stops to go pray. I said, "Come, which mosque?" Because it was coming from all angles. "Which mosque are we going to go to and pray?" And the young guy said to me, I have to go do something for my dad. I'll meet up with you later. You go pray." And then I realized I come to a country that was full of Muslims, but it wasn't full of Islam. And I remember someone said they visited the UK and they found Islam, but they didn't find no Muslims. And then they visited the Muslim world and they found the Muslims, but they didn't find no Islam. Now, I started traveling and speaking about this because all the youngsters everywhere I went in the world, Malaysia, Indonesia, Kuwait, Egypt, Saudi, a lot of the young people, they all just was so interested in money, materials, music, cars. And all of us in the UK who now took Shahada, we were so interested in this Quran. And we didn't understand how you had something from birth. Your parents had it, your grandparents had it, and you're not as interested in it as we was. It's as if they was running towards a life we was running away from. It's like they wanted to swap. And I never understood this. So I was traveling the world talking about this, and then in England they said, "Why don't you do it in a poetic style to entertain the children? So rhyme." So it was like rapping. And I said, "You want me to rap in the mosque?" And he says, "Yeah, kids need some entertainment." I said, "I can't rap in the mosque. I used to be scared to come to the mosque because I was a rapper." And he said, No, this is fine. Do it with no music, a cappella. Just talk about Islam. It's like nasheed." So I says, "Okay." And I walked to the front of the mosque. And I remember everyone was looking at me like this. And this was my first time speaking in a masjid or in front of any Muslims. And I was so shy. And I remember looking at this old man thinking, is he even going to understand what I'm about to say? And then I was thinking to myself, someone halfway through is going to say, "Stop. Astaghfirullah, he's rapping in the mosque. What is this?" and walk out. But it was different. Instead, everyone seemed to love it. And it touched the hearts. And they asked me to do it at every university in the UK. Until they asked me to do it all over the world. Until I got an email from the brother here to come here to Pakistan and do something for you. So, before we go into some question and answers, I'm just going to try and do some of that poetry, spoken word rap for you. Is that okay? Yeah? Does everyone understand my English clear? Yeah? I won't go too fast for you then, yeah? I was surrounded by lights. Lights, camera, action. I'm the topic of debates, gossip, and their discussions. Somebody tell 'em I ain't got the time for these distractions. But when I die, I'm afraid of what might happen. They recognize my face. They ask me for my autograph. I tell them that my faith don't justify superstars. So switch off the lights, turn off the cameras, and cut the action. Cause when I die, I'm afraid of what might happen. You see, it's amazing when I look at where I am today. This ain't what I was raised amongst, so call this the chosen way. I used to go into my church every Sunday. Mum was cooking rice and peas, listening to reggae. I was a typical black boy from a typical black household, walking with my jeans low, face like I own the road. Before there was no hope, I used to make a lot of dough. But if you ask me about Islam or Allah, I say I don't know. A few books, a few months, a lot of reading. A new season, it brings a new way of thinking. I reason when a Muslim is speaking, I listen. I smile because of the beauty I found in his religion. You see, this is what was missing. The final piece of the puzzle. It's all starting to make sense now. Before it was all muddled, I was stuck in the jungle, blind like a bat. Now I see quite clear, it's Allah, thank for that. He brought me the facts, now the boy from the flats is the boy who lays head down on the mat. It's as simple as that. And now that I found Islam, inshallah, I'ma never turn back. See, I was on the outside looking in. I was a ghetto child lingering, thinking should I take it now, the thoughts were just wavering. Will it make my daddy proud? What am I gonna say to him? Can I go back to my house? Mommy, I'm a Muslim. How's she gonna take it down? How are they gonna take it in? Will I end up kicked out? Will I end up kicked out? Will I get a kick in? I don't know. 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't know what to do. I gotta plan my next move. I wanna take Shahada soon, but I really gotta think it through. What's right for me, I have to do. I live for me and not for you. I don't believe that is true. The things I read up in the news. I don't believe that is true. The things I read up in the news. It's my choice, I'ma choose. I ain't got nothing to lose. This is the religion, the truth. Read the books, found the proof. Ismail came to me, sat me down and said to me, what's your purpose in life? It just looks like a game to me. Now I would think occasionally, Ismail is right. I need to fix up my life tonight, could be my last night. So just before the summer year 2002, my mind's already had a wonder, now it's time to make a move. I made my way down to the studs, I link up with my crew. I'm sitting on a single chair, running my fingers through my hair. I said, yo, it's your Phil, is your older brother here? Thankfully he says, yeah, Ismail is downstairs. He'll be up in a minute, he's having a word with his mother. He comes up, I tell him I want to take my Shahada. He looks at me and smiles. I stand up, receive a hug. He said, I see you as a friend of mine, I look at you like a bruv. Now I can feel the love, no longer feeling lost. He said, take off your cross, let's take a drive to New Cross. I met my Uncle Yasser and his brothers from all over. They said it's time to leave the ghetto life way over your shoulder. So I said, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. There's no true God except Allah, Muhammad is his messenger. I ain't going church no more, I'm going Jummah. Friday, straight at mosque, Multaz on the khutbah. I wanted to get the front row, I had to get there early. He read a prayer in Arabic, I understood it barely. I really got to learn it quick, I got myself a teacher. And then I went to Egypt so I could learn the language better. I was feeling all emotional, I wrote my mum a letter. In Egypt feeling lonely, wanted to find myself a lover. I tried to get married, I suffered a bit of racism. He said she couldn't be with me because my parents were Jamaican. I said, hey, but I still pray and I fast in Ramadan. And he said, no daughter of mine will be marrying a black man. I said, okay, cool, I'm gonna make the art for you. And you know what, brother, just make the art for me too. I'm just happy I'm a Muslim, I came from them streets to Islam. The ghetto, when I see my brother give a palm, embrace with a hug and greet with salam. Salamu alaikum. Yeah, I'm a Muslim, I came from the streets to Islam. The ghetto, when I see my brother give a palm, embrace with a hug and greet with salam. Salamu alaikum. And my mum, she always tried her best to make sure the son was focused. My mum always had a smile no matter how slow I progress. And my mum would always say, that's my son, he's the best. And mum never, when I turned 19, she still loved me the same when I converted to this deen. She just started asking questions, son, why you do that? I say, Mum, sit down with me, watch a DVD of Ahmed Didat. And slowly but surely, Mum will recognize the truth and appreciate the changes that I've made since my youth. She knew I was flying away, she wanted to spend the day together. This was our moment, we went mashed in together. And it was enough to make me smile. Look at my mum with a hair cover. And then she broke the news, she wanted to take her shahada. I said, Allahu Akbar. Because obviously, I love Allah the most in this dunya. And then I love the Prophet and his sunnah. But after my love for Islam, comes a love for my mother. Definitely, I love Allah the most in this dunya. And then I love the Prophet and his sunnah. But after my love for Islam, comes a love for my mother. And I tell my mother, when I die, don't cry. Pray for me at my janazah, why? I believe in a life that goes on beyond the sky. I'm trying to get there while I'm here still alive. And yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't think that I would be able to lead the things that I've done before, but now they see me in the street, they say, Bilal, how's it going? I reply, Alhamdulillah, it's going fine. The grass is greener on the other side. These women are more cleaner and the men are more polite. I love my new family, I love my new life. See, now I can smile even if I die tonight. But if I die tonight, tell my mother don't cry. Pray for me at my janazah, why? I believe in a life that goes on beyond the sky. I'm trying to get there while I'm here still alive. You see? And I'm saying to my brother, do you want for me what you want for yourself? Brother, do you pray Allah gives me strength and health? Brother, do you forget about me because I'm far? Brother, do you love me, fi sabilillah? Brother, do you want for me what you want for yourself? Brother, do you pray Allah gives me strength and health? Brother, do you forget about me because I'm far? Brother, do you love me, fi sabilillah? I'm just walking with my head down, books under my arm, reciting my favorite words from the Quran. As time goes around so soon, the time goes around so soon. والتين والزيتون والطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين. Seen from them disbeliever as a stranger, seen as the ones that bring terror and danger. We just want to focus on his deen. Head down, trying to focus on his deen. Alhamdulillah.
Hello.
Yeah, salah.
After this inspirational and motivational session by Mr. Muslim Bilal, we would have 5 questions from the audience. And I would like to make another announcement that we have kept copies of the Holy Quran, the translation with the Urdu and the English translation. One table is right there and the other table is in the front. So you may take if you want to. We'll take the first question.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Muhammad Shamail Haider. MashaAllah, it was a great story you've told and quite motivational. One thing what I want to ask you is this, like as you said, we see Muslims in Muslim countries and Islam in Western countries, and personally I'm a witness for this as well. So here, even in Pakistan, I have found more challenges than in Western countries when practicing Islam. So what do you think we should do for countries like us to change that, or maybe the type of Dawah service, what we can do about it? There's a big gap in the religious people here and others. So maybe your suggestion, Jazakallah.
Thank you for your question. I feel like the truth is, first and foremost, we have to thank the organizers of this event for doing something like this today and show our appreciation to all of those at Dream World Resort for allowing this to happen, because this is the first type of thing that you can do to help that change. Because clearly, and it's understandable, like, it's very understandable, like, if you come, everyone wants what they don't have. Everyone wants what they're not used to having, and what they're told, you want that forbidden fruit, what you don't have and what you're not used to. So when you come to a place like this, let's say, for example, the roads ain't clear, you don't have smooth roads, this is what you'd want, smooth roads. Or if you don't have big shopping malls, you might want big shopping malls. You want what you don't have already. So these are the things you aspire for, and you'll go to school and work so that you can have a better life in your country. The thing is, in the UK, we have everything. We're almost spoiled. So what we don't have, though, is I don't walk past someone in the street and they say hello to me. We don't have that. So what we long for and we desire is that heart, is religion, is passion. So when we find something like Islam, which promotes goodness and good character and wanting for each other what you want for yourself, that's the best thing we've ever witnessed in the UK, because I can go to Knightsbridge and I'll see a Bentley, a Ferrari, we've got big houses, we've got every shopping mall, we've got every shop, we've got everything easily accessible. Every job you can get paid good money. The people is on the lowest salary in the UK are still driving around in a new car. We've got all of that so easy. So what we really want is what we don't have, which is stuff like this, religion, which promotes good character. And I can understand why here you want what you don't have. A lot of people do anyway, the youngsters especially. So what is a good thing to help it? I would say things like this, where you're bringing people from the UK, bring people from America. They brought Sister Yvonne Ridley the other day, a lady. I know a few other women like Lauren Booth, who's from the UK. It would be good to come out here to talk about, to motivate and inspire, and also I think more events need to take place like this. In the UK, we've got so much events like this. I'm at one nearly every week, sometimes twice a week, in every city, in every area. There'll be one going on like this in one part of London, and 10 minutes down the road, there's one exactly the same with the same audience. So these things are happening regular. I think you need to do these things as a community, start putting them on, and creating little Dawah groups and organizations here that's doing stuff like this. That's the first steps.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thank you for your talk. It was really uplifting for our Iman to come and listen to you. One thing very important you have mentioned is about character and mannerisms. You know how you said when you became a new Muslim, you were very emotional and going around telling people not to do this, not to do that. I think this is the area we really need to work on, especially here in Pakistan. Next thing, I wanted to ask about that man whom, when you were about to become a Muslim, and he said that, oh no, you have to stop rapping and, you have to get rid of the music. So how was that comment to you? Would you say that it was a very discouraging remark? Or any new Muslim who would have easily gotten very discouraged and, away from Islam? So would please comment on that?
Yeah, well, both these comments you've made, they're kind of on the same subject. And this is the truth. We feel like we're doing good by telling people that they're doing wrong sometimes. But we have to know that wisdom, we have to use wisdom with everything we do. So it's not just that, okay, I see this person is doing wrong, I need to enjoin the good and forbid the wrong and tell him, sorry brother, what you're doing is wrong, you need to change and not do that. This is not wisdom, and this is not the main thing. What we need to do is do things in accordance with the Sunnah. So even the way we advise people has to be in accordance with the Sunnah. And even Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said, if they came to us with the rules straight away, we would have all ran away. So first we had to learn faith. And once our faith was built up, the rule had so much faith, they was learning about Allah and Tawheed and Judgment Day and the punishments of the grave. They were learning faith until their faith was so strong that when the rules came, they listened and obeyed with no option. Oh, told the believing women to cover their hair. They had so much faith, they were ripping their garments and wrapping over their hair with listen, obey, no option, because their faith was high. Now, let's say, someone may say to this girl who has hardly read anything, Why are you not covering, sister? You need to do that. Stop trying to dress like Beyonce and be more like Aisha. She's never read a book about her deen in her life. She hasn't built up her faith. You can't just attack her with this kind of rule. The best thing to do is build up her faith. It's like they told me to stop doing music, stop rapping. I didn't listen. I was still rapping. And this is going to be the reaction of most of the youngsters. You can't tell me to stop doing something I love. No matter how much you tell me, the government told us stop carrying a gun around or you go to prison for 5 years. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. However, Imam Mumtaz, may Allah reward him, he didn't tell me to stop rapping. He didn't tell me to put the gun down. He didn't tell me any of these things. Do you know what he told me? Bilal, how are you? And he gave me a hug. He says, we've got a program at the mosque where everyone's sleeping in the mosque for 10 days. We're going to eat together, chill together. Why don't you come? You should come. He made me feel welcome. So I went to the mosque. And this was in Ramadan, the last 10 days. I didn't know, but it was a itikaf. So I was like, okay. One day I said, I'm going to leave and go to the shop and come back. He said, no, you're not allowed to leave. This is a itikaf. I said, oh. So I stayed in the mosque for 10 days. When I was in the mosque for 10 days, just praying, reciting Quran, speaking with my brothers, eating with my brothers, something happened to my heart, where my heart was changing. I hadn't listened to music and rap for 10 days, which seems like a short period of time. But when you're just in this small mosque for so long, when I came out of the mosque, and my mum played music in the car, the first thing I said is, turn that down, please, mum, turn it down. Because I've been in the mosque for 10 days, I hadn't heard anything like this. It was like, oh, it's too much, turn this down, mum, turn this down. So, this just shows, and then, after that, I ended up getting a booking to go and perform at a college event. I went to the college event. I looked at all the students, and they were waiting for me to perform, and you know what I said? I can't even do this. I don't feel right. I just come out of the mosque. It didn't feel right. Now that is natural. When you start to tell people don't do this and don't do that, they might listen just because of you. This is like a minor form of shirt. Like they're just following you, your harshness. So what I would say is work on the heart, the condition of the heart of the people. Speak to people with good character, with good manners, with wisdom. And then they will naturally start to, once they start to have, their heart starts to change, they start to reject the bad things anyway, and they want to do good anyway. So they just have to seek knowledge. And then with knowledge, they get more iman, more faith, more fear, and they start following rules naturally. You can't just tell someone, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, and expect them to follow. This is definitely not the right mannerism, and it's not even the way of the sunnah. There's many stories, I won't go into it now, of when they noticed someone was doing something wrong, in the way in which they tried to change them from doing that wrong.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Brother Bilal, I would like to ask if a person is a Muslim, but he wants to be a rock star,
Yeah.
so how can you comment on that?
How can you what, sorry?
How can you comment on that?
Comment. Well, for me, I was a rapper. I was having meetings with Sony Records, and I was a Muslim as well. Now for me, this life is so temporary and so short. I once wrote a poem, my first poem, where I said, I could achieve all my dreams if I made effort and tried, but this life's only temporary, so that would be a waste of time. Meaning, I loved rapping. I loved the whole experience of going in the studio, hearing the beats getting made, creating a chorus, final product. I loved it. But I think this life is so short. I don't think there's actually enough time to do that and to please Allah. I'm not even going to go into the politics of whether music was halal or haram, or what opinion I'm upon. I'm just going to go into the simple way of looking at it as, when you are a rock star or a musician, do you know how much time you have to spend in the studio? Listening to music, writing new songs. I didn't have time for that. There's not enough time. It's like when they said, if we knew the reality of this world, we'd spend less time smiling and more time crying. If we really knew the reality of this life, we wouldn't have time to be rock stars, musicians, or none of these things. We'd only have time to be stuff that will benefit us in this life and in the next life. So for me, I'd rather be something like a life coach, a youth worker, because it's not only benefiting me in this life, it's benefiting me in the next life. I could get paid and it's a job, a doctor. You can get paid and it's a job, but you're also benefiting yourself in the next life, because what you're doing is you're supporting people, you're helping people, you're helping others. You could be a teacher. These jobs, you're helping people, and then so you get rewarded for it by getting paid, and you get rewarded for it in the next life, which is what this life's all about. Being a rock star, you might actually be leading people astray. You might be taking people off the straight path that they've been praying that Allah keeps them on. You might actually be taking them off, because when they was listening to Quran and they was listening to a talk by this great speaker Bilal Assad or this, and then one of their friends comes around and goes, hold up, I got this new CD from this rock star, he's from Karachi, his name's Adam, he's amazing, listen to this. And they go, okay, and they listen to it, and they're like, wow, this is great. And then they start listening to that every day. And then now their parents are like, what happened to my son? He used to listen to Quran and this, now he just listens to this rock star every day. I don't want to be responsible for that. I don't want to be that rock star that created that for that boy, who then went to school and gave that tape to his friends, and then it went on YouTube, and there's people in China listening to it, and then all those youngsters on Judgment Day are standing in front of me, and Allah says, you're responsible for leading astray all of these youngsters here. I don't want that on my back on Judgment Day. So it's not for me to tell anyone what job they want to do. But if you take this life seriously, then you should know. And of course, you want to be a good husband. A good wife will not be attracted to a rock star. So that's a bad choice of job.
Assalamu alaikum and Jazakallah for sharing your journey for embracing Islam.
Yeah.
I've got a very general question.
Yeah.
What are the efforts underway in UK for improving the perception of Islam? And is there anything we can learn from what is being done over there? Because we are more or less in a similar situation over here. The masses are moving away from our values, from our religion.
Okay, final answer, we're going to break for prayer. In a simple way, it's just a matter of, like we were saying before, about character. It's all about the character. We're just trying to improve our character so that they see us doing things like holding doors open, like offering a helping hand, and they say, oh, these are Muslims doing these things. Like there's some sisters in the car who might walk down the road and they'll be intimidated by her, but then she'll stop and hold the door open and say good morning to that lady who was like offended, maybe scared of her, intimidated by her before. And it's just a matter of, you know, you can't change the condition of a people until you're prepared to change the condition of yourself. So by everyone working on their self, by everyone working on their own prayers, on their own selves, their own nafs, their own desires, then as a nation we'll become better as one, if everyone focus on their self.